Now, by Alexandra, who's in Germany. Okay, Kenyan will be represented by a small girl who's, I think, in Switzerland, and she's doing skiing.
Yeah, we've covered those ones.
Yeah, we've talked about those ones.
So Kenya accepts all these people. I've been dealing with an issue whereby a lady is taking the daughter to play, and I know we have 3 or 4 players from the diaspora, second generation Kenyans, who are playing for the Kenya team. Met this guy who is an editor for some of the top series that you're watching at home. We have people like Wanjiru Njendo, who's a producer in Hollywood. Now, what the minister has tasked to be done is for us to harmonize all these guys and say, listen, when you're doing those things, are we able to mention this particular place? And we always say that we thank God for people who mention your name in places that your feet will never touch. I think it's time for us to recognize the creatives in the diaspora, give them their place at the table, and allow them to be our first line ambassadors. Guys, I think that will change the narrative. I want to give you a small case study. Right now, the biggest conversation in the world is about movies being shot in Africa. Now, every country in Africa is trying, and every production house in Hollywood is trying to scramble for our Wakanda. Everybody wants to try and create our Wakanda, you know? Now, the first thing I tell them, there's no Wakanda, and there is nobody like that. But I tell them, where I'm from, there is a guy called Luanda Magere. And Luanda Magere used to have powers that you could not spear him. And the people around this area are from Luanda Magere. Now, imagine if a studio buys it here and says, we shall make a movie about Luanda Magere, Mekatili Wemenza, we shall do Syokimau, we shall do any hero. We have 48 tribes in Kenya. We can do 10 each. Guys, all those are Wakanda stories. But who will tell these guys if the people who are in the creative economy here are not recognized, are not honored, are not given their place at the table? Let's go to sports. Some of the best players, I mean, you saw this very well. You guys watched American football, and that other team won, KC. And I was supporting the other team.
Kansas City Chiefs.
That other team.
I was supporting the other one.
He was supporting Eagles. I think he liked the green color.
You like the green?
Yeah, I think it looked like
That's because I just had hype around it. I don't even know how that game is played. But
the best team.
One of the things that happened at the end of it, I don't know if you guys watched the news, there was this particular player who came on the field with a Nigerian flag.
Ah, man. I saw that.
That thing. Yeah. One of the things I spoke to our minister today, I requested him if I could restart the Najivunia Kwam Kenya campaign. Why? And that's why I wear all these bands. Guys, it's a symbol of pride. The problem is we beat down Kenya so much, even as Kenyans. We beat it down in, corruption, these guys are bad, Kenya Kwendeni, you guys are stupid, those guys are this, that we are not even proud, even when Omanyala is the fastest man
in the world,
in Africa. We are not proud when Gilbert Onyango acts alongside Will Smith in Emancipation. We are not proud when Jada Pinkett Smith does a movie which is released last week, but written by a Kenyan girl called Paris Olo. We're not proud when Poison Ivy, a Kenyan, is right there at the NBA, DJing on the floor, doing her thing. We're not proud when Rachel Mbuki in Hollywood is interviewing all these celebrities, and all she'll able to tell them is, by the way, do you know Kenya? And they speak about it. Right now over here in Hollywood, they're busy talking about, DNA testing. Let me tell you, let me not walk into bad territory. But I tell these guys, there's nothing like DNA. I tell them, before the colonialists came, there was only one place called Africa. And it meant that you could walk across everywhere. So it means that you came and picked up somebody who had walked across the other side and walked the other side. So what the DNA you have is called African. Don't forget, the biggest place which held slaves is in Kenya. It's Fort Jesus. It's bigger than even the one in Ghana.
Yes, and
You need to understand what are people using to sell themselves. They're using people like me and you guys. They're using you. They're using you guys on radio. They're using you guys saying, listen, we are from Kenya. We are proud to be Kenyan. But maybe I need to give you a reason to be proud.
Yeah, and I think, like piggybacking on just what Balozi said, yes, kunywa maji hapo. But just piggybacking on what he said, I think, like this is something that we brought up on the show.
Yep.
There is this tendency, like there's kind of like a cool factor that has been given to bashing Kenya. Like where even when there's positive, you just constantly want to bash because that's the cool thing to do, and even people come and say, I don't do Kenyan, or you guys are still speaking Swahili. That thing, like is very, very problematic. And I keep telling people, yes, Ali, for every criticism you give, also make sure you say something positive. Mika, I'm gonna come to you real quick, 1 minute, and Unomai.
No, I was gonna add on when Balozi mentioned Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Poison Ivy DJs for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes.
Even while she's DJing just the games, she's going to play.
She's their entertainment director.
She plays Kenyan music.
Yeah.
She does.
She plays African music.
Yes,
she
pushes. African music.
She
pushes.
Yes.
She has played that like in a game. So like Balozi is saying, I think there's a need definitely to really, but we have to get those guys to have those guys. We have to recognize those guys who are making
But check
moves.
this out, guys. One of the reasons when I came to Stato, I did a campaign called Rock the Band, where I would give anybody, celebrities, this band for them to wear. One of the things we have to do is to make it cool to be associated with Kenya. You remember us guys, the reason you guys are here is because growing up, Stato was a cool place to come. You didn't say you want to go to India or Pakistan, or you to go even to Canada. You guys said you wanted to come to Stato because Stato was cool. So we need to make Kenya cool. So you rock the band, not because everything is good, no, but because there holds hope. But also remember the issue of language came because we were taught and we were told bad things about ourselves, that we started to hate ourselves. People came here and refused to be Kenyan, refused to be associated with Kenya because we were told stuff about ourselves. Now, I speak Swahili. I wear kitenges, by the way, or when I'm here, not because I don't have any three-piece suits. And guys tell me, hey, that's not official. I go like, even what you're wearing is not official. That's an Italian suit. It doesn't mean that it makes it real. It just means that whatever you give value is valuable. The value is in whatever you give. Finally, remember, at the stadium, our theme song shall be Kuna Kuna. Watch everybody in the stadium do that dance immediately we show them. That's Kenyan. That's just loving it. My heart, so when guys do that thing, everybody will be like, teach me this thing, and we'll be like, listen, it's Kenyan. The reason why we are loved at all these rugby events is because, and I'm in the committee, I can tell you, I meet the organizers like almost, I would talk every week, is because of the vibe. They say Kenyans come in their thousands and they bring the vibe, yani sherehe.
Vibes.
So we're proud to be Kenyan.
Okay. All right, Mika, 1 minute.
I just want to say that I agree with a lot of what Victor is saying. Lee, you remember sometime in 2001 in a room at Clubhouse, Saturday afternoon, a conversation about why East African music is not strong as West African music. And Don Jazzy and Mr. Sido in that room. And Don Jazzy said that the one thing that made Nigerian music grow was the diaspora, nothing else.
Okay.
Without the diaspora playing the music, they will not have growth.
Okay.
So the same thing to what Big Ted is saying right now. If we want to transcend that border, we need to be able to sell Kenya. We need to be able to be breathing, talking, doing everything Kenya.
Okay.
But then I have one, I usually like to throw a spanner in the works. How do we make the reverse of this? How do we make the Kenyans in Kenya accept the talent that is usually here, especially new talent from the diaspora in Kenya?
Okay. All right, how do we make the Kenyans in Kenya accept the talent from the diaspora? Big Ted, 1 minute, and then we proceed to the next segment. Because
Ali, you in 1 minute, bwana. Just extend the show, bwana.
Utatulipa.
So let me speak about acceptance. Now, I think I've not been replaced. I'm the chairman of the Kenya Basketball Federation Management Board. And one of the things that we have seen, and we have always been looking for, is looking for who are these Kenyans in the diaspora who are playing out there who can come and play for the country. For example, I will tell you, Kenya will be represented in the fencing at the Olympics. Fencing. Yeah. Now, by Alexandra, who's in Germany. Okay, Kenyan will be represented by a small girl who's, I think, in Switzerland, and she's doing skiing.
Yeah, we've covered those ones.
Yeah, yeah, we've talked about those ones.
So Kenya accepts all these people. I've been dealing with an issue whereby a lady is taking the daughter to play, and I know we have 3 or 4 players from the diaspora, second generation Kenyans, who are playing for the Kenya team. Now, what do we need to do? Number one, we need to inform the parents here that yes, we are open for them, so that if people know. Because if people don't know, then there's no use of actually doing it. But number 2 is we need to manage expectations, but provide for whatever is required. Many of these people who come to play, my friend Ronnie Gundox, who's been playing here, but now he's playing in Spain. He plays for the Kenya basketball team. Valbuza, who's here, who's playing here. All these guys tell me one thing, Ted, whatever it is I'm being paid as an allowance is probably what I spend in one day in America. But I'm doing it for the love of the game. And you will hear this personally coming out of the PS for Sports this particular week, that government is dedicated to try and make it worth the while of the players in this particular dispensation. I know the past one tried. We may not be at the very top, but we also have to try and provide just the basics that they require. So rooting out corruption, rooting out kujuana, I must know someone's kid or someone's uncle for me to be in the team. And then just being able to provide that. The South Sudanese team, which plays basketball at AfroBaskets in Africa, has a big portion of people coming from America. So yes, we are able to offer all these guys an opportunity. The door is open. And again, if you have anybody, any sportsman who wants to take part, participate in any sports activity, I have the contacts of who you need to talk to. The associations will be able to connect you with the right people. Guys, let me tell you, I'm an apologist, I'm whatever. I didn't come here to play, Bwana. I came here to work, and work I will do.